week who were on the phone listening to the president talk about this swap of dirt for U.S. military aid.
Chris, so far, the evidence is uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election. And the complaint that I've heard from Republicans...
Ladies and gentlemen, we have some breaking news. And by breaking, I mean breaking. We have some breaking news. MSLSD, Chris Matthews, the ubiquitous Eric Swalwell. Well, he's actually about to break some news. Listen very, very carefully. Lower the music very much so that people can hear. Listen to every word. Go.
Chris, so far, the evidence is uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election.
Did that actually happen, Mr. Producer? Open your microphone.
So, according to the Daily Caller, yes, it did.
And the Daily Caller is a real news site.
And Swalwell paused and then continued.
Do we have that? Did he continue? Can we hear it again?
Chris, so far, the evidence is uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election.
Stop right there. That's the smartest thing this guy's ever said. Smartest thing this guy's ever said. Continue, please. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Do it again. Play it again.
Chris, so far, the evidence is uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election.
Now, are we sure it was Swalwell, not Chris Matthews? Is that a fair enough question? I think that's a fair question. Let's listen again. Go ahead.
Chris, so far, the evidence is uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election.
Now, wait a minute. I think Swalwell stopped because he was shocked that it was Chris Matthews. Why do we assume it's Swalwell? I'm quite serious. Why are we assuming it's Swalwell and not Chris Matthews? I'm not rooting for one or the other. It's humiliating. Don't get me wrong. And I think they ought to own up to it because it's the smartest thing either of them would have ever said or done, in my opinion. Can you play that again, please?
Chris, so far, the evidence is uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election.
We're sure that's true? You're blaming the Daily Caller? Well then. Okay, that's fascinating. Now we have Nancy Pelosi, who basically does the same thing from the other end of her body. From the other end of her body. As you all know who listen to this program, in the first hour, I told you Nightline contacted my editor with my publisher, Simon & Schuster. They wanted me as a guest. And I said, now, wait a minute. I have no interest in talking to you because we know how you play games. But now that you've contacted me, I would like to debate Nancy Pelosi on Nightline. She's the Speaker of the House. I'm the Speaker of my house. Of course, my wife is the President of our house. But you get the point. You get the point. Whoever she spoke to in this interview we're going to play after the bottom of the hour doesn't have an audience as big as I have. Radio, TV, books, all the rest of it. They call me Denali. Would you tell Nightline they call me Denali, Mr. Producer? Would you please? We got to come up with a name for Swalwell. How about Breaking News Swalwell? I'll be right back.